Greetings. I really do want to find a way to start without being so cold like that. Some little music thing. But anyway, here I am. And this is Deborah Leanne. And we are going to talk about shadow work and the importance of this type of self-awareness in order to be authentic. Authentic in our relationships, authentic in our leadership, and showing up authenticity in authentic ways in all parts of our life. I think one of the biggest things for me was learning how to stop pretending I was something different. And the more that we actually shove away the things we don't want to look at, the more they show up. So what I've learned is by tackling these parts of me, some of the not so pretty things like victim, being needy, oof, for an independent, powerful woman, that kind of thing, that kind of trait, that kind of name just creates all kinds of anxiety and almost a disgust in my system. I don't know about you, but I was brought up by a woman who, and her mother as well, my grandmother and my mother were both very much about, it's all about being beautiful. It's all about being taken care of by your man. It's all about how can we create a life that is surrounded by all of the trappings of being a taken care of woman, being taken care of, being, what's the word I want to look for? It's around basically being kept, you know? They didn't work outside of the home until, my mom did later in life after we were in college or high school. And the thing is that's the kind of, that's what forced me not forced me, but it created in me a desire to be something different. I didn't want to be responsible on a man for my money. I didn't want to be responsible. I didn't want to be dependent on a man for my money. Let me correct that. I wanted to take care of myself because nobody else had done a very good job of it up to this point. It was always my job. And from a very early age, I was self-reliant. I was working at, 11 years old or something. And it continued. I continued to pay all my own, everything, all the way through high school. My own haircuts, my own gas in the car, my own, even tuition one year at my private high school I paid for out of my account. I bought my first bicycle. Several things like that were not given to me, and I was used to that. So the whole thing about being needy or wanting somebody to take care of me or, even relaxing enough to allow someone to take care of me. So why do you think I teach about receiving now, right? Because receiving is such a forgotten trait for women. We are such good givers, and that's a whole other topic. But the point is that was a very hard thing for me to do. When I was first engaged, and he said, well, for the first part of the sabbatical, we're going to be gone before the wedding. Can you see if your job will let you off for 3 months while we're gone for that summer part of the sabbatical? And my job said no. So I left a career that was lucrative, where I was doing well, next in line to take over the department, and was a kept woman. I wasn't even married yet. That summer while we lived in the Stockholm area and he was on his sabbatical. That was horrible for me. And I went into a depression. I didn't know who I was when I wasn't bringing in my own income, with my own money, with my own way of knowing how to live my life and spend my time. And this was a critical juncture for me. It began well, who am I if I'm not a career woman? And many people would say, I would love the opportunity to live in Stockholm for the summer. And yet I wasn't married yet. And I was in this in-between stage, which I find myself in many times in my life. I'm in one of those right now. I'm not quite to where I'm going, which I have in my mind is a certain place. Pretty funny. And I'm not who I used to be, even 6 months ago. So this whole shadow thing has been following me and showing up in really, do you see me? Do you see me? Like knocking on my door, asking me to pay attention for decades. And as I see my daughters in their 20s now, playing with who they are in their sovereignty, they're not quite out on their own yet, but they're not quite needy either. And playing this game of how much they need or not need us. And I don't mean like super uber dependent, but I do mean that honestly saying, yes, we do need people. We're not designed to be solo, self-caring, self-reliant people. That's a very good trait, and I have it in spades on the reverse side, but to the point where it has kept me from being able to allow people to do things for me. And it's hard for me to even set expectations when I need people to do things for me, even people that work with me. So this is what I'm trying to point out, is this self-awareness of where is it that my overused strengths of self-reliance, independence, taking care of myself, being, priding myself on not needing anything from anyone, where does that, the flip side of that, because we're all both sides of the coin. We're all light and dark, every one of us. The world is light and dark. At any moment, there's a place where the sun is shining and where it is not shining on our planet. We are the same. And the more that we own the light, bright brilliance of who we are and see the flip side and know some of those patterns that are running us, that are sometimes under the radar, if we're not aware of what they are, that are holding us back, that are showing up in inopportune moments. And that needy thing has shown up for me in places where I was embarrassed by it. And then I would try to shove it down even more, which made it pop its head up even more. It's like literally, if you're in a pool and you're trying to sit on a beach ball or a volleyball, it wants to pop up. It doesn't want to stay under the water. And it's a lot of effort to hold that ball under the water. It's a lot easier to just let it pop up to the surface and be seen. And this is a key factor for leaders and to be authentic in our leadership. How often do we see leaders not paying attention to the stuff that they need to work on? We all can see it. It's clear as day to us. It's clear as day to us and anyone. We can always see what's on the tip of someone's nose that they can't see till they go look in a mirror, or they work with a coach, or they get a 360 assessment that shows them where they're in their own way, or they go to therapy and they dive into, why am I having these repeating patterns in my life? And we need others to help us learn and grow and be the fullness of ourselves. And then once we know what that part of us is, and I'm just going to go back to using the needy example. Once I know that she is alive and well and just needs to be addressed, it's fascinating to me how I can catch her as she's starting to show up right at a time where I don't really want her showing up. And when she shows up, it looks to me, I get overly critical. I push people away. I can find fault with the relationship. I can feel controlled. I don't like any of those feelings. And I lose my ability to be sovereign and powerful and, feeling in control. which we're never really in control. That's another whole conversation. And so where I'm at with you today is, what is it that is amazing about you that you are not owning? And what is the flip side of that? So let's just say you want to be powerful. You admire other women that are powerful. And you're not noticing how much power you already have or already display in your life and in your love and in your leadership. And what can you do to own that on a deeper level? And you can practice saying, I am powerful, but a lot of times you need somebody to give you some feedback on where is that not showing up? What part of your body is apologizing for being powerful? Where is it energetically not in alignment with your words? And coach you through that to a place where you actually own it. And you can say, I am powerful. And people get it. It comes through clearly, not just in your words, but through your eyes, through your body, your energy, through your actions, your thoughts, and your deeds. So that would be called a light shadow, something that's pretty amazing about you that you are not choosing to truly own or claim. And the flip side of that might be, I'm a victim. Or I'm needy. I'm not powerful. I'm a needy person. I need. And then how can you own that I am needy? What is the gift in being needy? For me, it was to learn that I could relax and let someone else take care of me. For me, it was to learn that I don't need to grow all my own food, and I don't need to worry about how the electricity works. I need electricity. I need a computer. I can't do all of the things I do without a computer, especially without a good computer that works. I need these things. And even more importantly, I need people in my life. I need to have to be witnessed, to be seen and appreciated. It's a hunger and a desire for me. And when I'm with my masculine companions and they see me in the beautiful, feminine, and powerful self that I am, wow, there is nothing better. It just feeds my energy. It feeds my power. It feeds my ability to show up in my highest and feminine power when they see it and they respond. I need that. I need water. I need to hear from my daughters. I need to have friends reach out and ask me every once in a while if they'd like to connect or have coffee or whatever. I need clients or I wouldn't have a business. I need all of those things. So once I get to the place where I can say the word I am needy and own it and not let it have any charge on my system, not feel slimy or yucky or like it's less than and not important and I don't need to look at that and I try to hide it away. Because every one of those things is a way of disowning a part of ourself. And we are already so scattered. And we already feel disowned by certain parts of society. Especially people of color and people that belong to some of the different parts of our population. And they get so much other grief for being transgendered or gay or different in any way. And women have our own stuff. We have a lot of our own stuff that we are still claiming our own power back from other women. Never mind the rest of the population. We have done a great job of holding ourselves back and holding each other back through some old patterns of competition and that if she wins, I can't win. Only one person can be the queen or the princess. That's all a bunch of hooey. And it's old, 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 old. And we need to drop that and move into our next phase, which is collaborative and celebrating everybody's amazingness and beauty and brilliance. Because when they shine, we get to shine. Ooh, that's a good topic too, the shine principle. We've got 3 new topics set aside now. So I just want to see where you are holding yourself back. Where are you not owning, not fully aware of where you might be your perfectionist, which is a good thing to get things done and do it well with excellence. And it can be a real anchor, or it can weigh you down. It can act like a brake that will keep you from getting things done, from completing projects, from moving forward on something that you really want to do, but until you get it perfectly down pat, you won't even start it. And that's what stops many of us from our brilliance, is just not even starting. Not even beginning the sharing of who we are with the world. That's scary. It is. Because we may have to show up messy. We may have to show up less than perfect. And God knows we may have to show up authentic. And authenticity is getting a really strange rap these days. There's this thing about, well, if I'm authentic, I'm just going to be who I am and let it all hang out and just be. And that's not, I mean, like the whole thing about the guy that killed a man on Facebook Live? Seriously? You know, there's a point where showing up as genuine and true to who you are is one thing. And there's also a point of restraint. And there's a point of how can you be true to who you are, which I don't believe that is honest. I also don't believe that's in integrity. And the other thing that I think belongs within the bucket of what it means to be authentic and living a life of authenticity is there's a whole nother part of the definition that's around being trustworthy. And trustworthy and connecting and real are different than just showing me how you can kill or how you can hate, you know? I don't know. I'm still playing with this. I'm in the process of applying for a TEDx talk locally, and I am struggling with how raw and real and edgy do I want to be with this topic around authenticity, because it's becoming a household word. It's becoming a buzzword and commonplace, and that steals away from the potency of it. And a whole huge piece of this is not just about saying whatever comes up, whatever we feel, whatever we think. That's almost like there's a syndrome called Tourette's syndrome where you can't control what comes out of your mouth. It just what you think comes right out of your mouth. And that's not what I'm talking about by being authentic. Of course, for somebody with Tourette's, it might be. And what I'm really wanting to say is that authenticity takes a knowing. It takes a connecting of our mind, our heart, our body, and our soul. It takes a complete 360, if you will, inside and out, above, below, within. All of those facets of ourselves, as much as possible, are in a coherent state. And when we are in alignment like that, that's how authenticity can show up. And it's not as simple. It's not something that I believe you can do on your own. You could have a huge major life event that'll shock your system into getting to a new place. You can work through therapy or a coach. You can sit in front of a mirror. Mirrors will actually teach you a whole lot about yourself. Friends can teach us a lot about ourselves. Families have taught us a lot, but they also have skewed versions and views of who we are. It's their view of who we are. And that's where working with somebody who truly sees you on all levels, knows your multi-dimensional self, and is willing to support you on saying, even your words were a little shaky when you shared that with me. Let's try again. I'd love to hear you say that you are powerful and needy, or you are powerful and a victim, or how do you own both sides of yourself? And the beauty of when we do own both sides allows us to also set the space, the stage, the environment for others to be in that same place. You know, when we are comfortable in our own skin of all of who we are, it lessens the playing ground to a place where somebody feels like they have to be competitive with us or defensive with us or any of that, because we're coming from a place from the inside out, authentic, which will support the other that we're relating to deepen into their authenticity. Whew, this is a good topic. I could probably, it's funny, at the workshop the other day, I'm starting this Authentic Leadership Academy, and what we're seeing is how deep it goes into truly owning all of our parts, all of our brilliance and our wisdom and our power and the overused strengths that are on the opposite side of that or related to that, or that actually are hurting us from being more of our brilliance because we are not owning those parts. Time to take all of us, all of ourselves, all of our parts, all of our various facets, and appreciate them all. Celebrate them all. Own them all. And on that note, we will close for today. But I just wanted to remind you that if you have any questions around authenticity in leadership, if you have an interest in doing a 360, or you've got a team that you would like to develop at work to get to a new place of honest and connecting, trusting performance, it'll so enhance the whole what your team could handle. So I'm curious if any of this resonated with you. If you have any questions or you just want to leave me a comment, please do below wherever you heard this podcast. And until our next time together, take excellent care of you, all of you. The bright and shiny parts and the messy, unpretty parts. Okay? Take good care. Bye-bye.